brief opening statement. Obviously feels good to come off a win. I have stated I thought that was about as complete of a team win as we've had around here in a while. Played tremendous defensive football, capitalized on opportunities on offense, and protected the football, and felt like our special teams, for once, really made a positive impact in the outcome of the game. So, again, proud of our guys, proud of our seniors to be able to say that in their junior and senior year, they're 6-0 against top 25 teams, 3-0 against top 10 teams, and 2-0 against top 3 teams. And, oh, by the way, they're the winningest senior class in the long storied history of this great university. So a lot to be proud of there. Now, that being said, we got one more to play. And, we have put the Louisville game to bed as we should, and have moved on to preparing for Memphis. Coach Norvell has that team playing really, really good football right now, and even in a couple of losses they've had, they've been right in the game, with really only one game kind of getting away from them the entire season. So I think for everybody that thought that, when their quarterback went to the NFL and they lost Justin Fuente, that this team or program might take a step back, that's absolutely not the case. It's a really good football team that is very balanced, and as excited as we were to play Louisville on senior night, this is their senior day as well, and they've got a lot to play for their senior class as well. So it'll be a tremendous challenge for us going on the road. We haven't played as well as we'd like on the road at times, so we've got to take the things that we've learned the last couple weeks in our wins, and make sure that they translate over to road games as well. Questions? All right, thank you. Oh.
Not so fast. Tom, how do you prepare the guys this week in terms of you coming off of a big win, that proverbial letdown, and kind of what was the message to them coming back from the weekend?
Oh, again, around here in this program, it's really difficult to get away with any kind of letdown or complacency. It's just not allowable in our culture. And so, we practiced Saturday morning, and I was really, really hard on our guys, really demanding. There was a lot of yelling and screaming, and these are 18 to 22-year-old kids that every day is a battle to fight human nature, and we're in that. I think our coaches and our program does about as good a job of that as anywhere in the country, of truly battling and fighting human nature on a daily basis to make sure that we can accomplish the things that we want to accomplish.
Tom, can you deal with the situation now that you normally, you've coached these guys to be able to deal with a lot of distractions, it'd be everything going and coming. Now you're a part of a bigger distraction, whether these kids want to know it or not, and you still have a game to play. How do you just keep working through this process with these kids?
It's not, distractions are is a thing that you see when you take your eyes off of your goals, and you just don't. We don't do that around here. We don't worry about things that we can't control, and again, human nature is to do those things, and so we train our guys how to battle human nature, even on that front, on the distraction front. There's nothing in their lives. We talk about this all the time. If you're not preparing to beat Memphis, or you're not doing something that has to do with academics, whether it be going to class or doing homework or taking a test or whatever, then what are you doing? How are you helping this program? Those should be the only two things in your life right now, and I think our guys do as good a job of that as anybody in the country. And again, they've very honest conversations with our team, and there are no distractions. Distractions are only things if you let them be, and right now we don't have any. Dave, can you make sure that everybody turns off their cell phones and doesn't answer phone calls during press conferences and all that next time? Thank you.
Tom, how significant would it be for this program to have back-to-back double-digit win seasons?
The number isn't that big a deal. It's not. I mean, you're going to say is 10 better than 9? Yes, but at the end of the day, does that make 9 a failure? No. So it's not really that significant, other than it's just the next one on the schedule. And if you can look and say, yeah, double-digit wins, and if that extra digit makes you feel that much better, then okay. But I just keep going back to, it's the best 2-year run in the history of this program, and we have a chance to add to that number.
What's the schedule like for you guys this week? Leading up to the end?
Thanksgiving doesn't exist in college football. So we will practice today as if it were a Tuesday. We'll practice tomorrow as if it were a Wednesday. And then Wednesday, because there are no classes, we will practice in the morning like it's a Thursday. Have the kids out of here by 11:45, hopefully noon. They can go, if they live within 100 miles, they can go home. If they don't live within 100 miles, then they gotta go home with a teammate. If they don't live within 100 miles, they can't find a teammate to go home with, and they're coming to my house or another coach's house on Wednesday. And then we'll get up on Thursday, and it'll be like a normal Friday for us. We'll have our walkthrough at meetings, and then walkthrough at like 10 a.m. and then we got to get on a plane to Memphis, by 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Tom, what's the latest on Ed Oliver?
Improving. He's expected to play, I guess would be the probable. There's maybe the NFL definition. Very slight sprain of the MCL. Put a brace on it Saturday morning. He ran around Saturday morning. Is he 100%? No, but Ed at 90% still probably pretty good.
And with the Memphis game, everything's been decided conference-wise.
Yeah.
Do you? I don't want to diminish the importance of it, but do you do anything in terms of guys that you would or would not play, whether they're on the fence injury-wise or something, just because you have the bowl game? But this one,
yeah, I see what you're saying, but no, it's. I mean, this game is as important as Cincinnati was our first league game, week 3. So bless you. It doesn't carry any less importance. Winning is really, really hard, and it's what we're supposed to do around here. And regardless of what's quote unquote at stake, I think we've got a job to do, and that's go win a football game for the University of Houston.
Coach over here, what are your thoughts on kind of the unusual schedule y'all have been dealt this season with 3 Thursday games, a Friday game this week? What are some of the challenges you've run into, and is it maybe something you'd like to see changed in the future?
Yeah, I remember my first year in the conference, George O'Leary saying, I'll play all my games on Thursday night. I think the exposure is great. Don't get me wrong. I love it, and I love winning on Thursday nights is really, really cool because the whole country is watching. But trying to go from a Saturday game to a Thursday game is awful. That's awful preparing, and it's awful, especially when you got to go on the road, like we did against Cincinnati. And so I don't know any other way to fix it. I get why we do it as a conference and as members of this conference, because we are starved for that attention, quite frankly. But it does take it. I mean, you saw the tangible toll it took on our team in the month of October, for sure. So But I don't know how you fix that in the American Athletic Conference either.
Tom, what are similarities, differences with Memphis this year versus last?
The spread, their quarterback is really, really good. Is he Paxton Lynch good? I don't know. Paxton could really run the football. This guy, they don't ask him to as much, but he is very talented. I think he was the #1 junior college quarterback in the country coming out of junior college, so you can see why he's really good. Their defense is different structurally, but they've still got really talented guys up front and in the secondary. The one, I don't want to say nice thing, but the one thing that makes preparation maybe a tad bit easier for our offense is that their defense is almost identical in terms of our defense. So the things that our guys practice against every day in spring ball and in training camp are the things that they're going to see on Friday.
Coach, with this being your first road game since the loss to SMU, do you feel like there's a little extra motivation because of that, and what do you do to prevent another road letdown like that?
Well, I don't know that there's extra motivation. We're always going to be motivated probably pretty equally. What do you do to I don't know. That's a good question. One that I've thought about and will continue to think about. But up into this year, we've been pretty good on the road, and neutral site games as well. And so I don't know if it has anything to do with how we travel or. I think the biggest thing is, that a lot of places in this conference aren't like TDECU Stadium. That you gotta BYOJ, bring your own juice. Memphis plays in a really big stadium. That there's probably going to be a few empty seats in it, and that's okay. But we've got to bring our own juice, and we've got to bring our own energy, and we've got to mature as a team. To do that, and so we'll find out. That's something we've already addressed with the team, and we'll find out in pregame warm-up, how well they've responded to that challenge.
Tom, the day after the Louisville game, I think I heard you on the radio talk about Todd Orlando and kind of what he suggested or what he thought the game plan would be to bring pressure against Louisville. You've been in some really, really big games here, and each time the team as a whole has stepped up, but defensively, you guys have turned it up a notch. What is it about Todd Orlando and that defense that when you give him some time or you start tweaking in the laboratory or whatever, that he comes up with something that works?
He's really good. He's the best in the country, and I say that without exaggeration and hyperbole. We have the best defensive coordinator in the country. Along with the best defensive coaching staff, along with some of the best defensive players in the country. And, this was not a deal where he had extra time. I mean, he had limited time, like a bowl game or something, or the first game of the year. And I think it sounds simple, but, again, people haven't done it. And I credit Todd for, staying with the game plan of pressuring every single snap, because you get burnt once or twice. Sometimes you want to say, okay, let's slow down and let's play base defense. And no, this was the plan, and the plan was a bit high risk too. And so, but the plan is the plan, and we're going to stick with it. And I think it's a great plan against a guy like him. You sit back and you cover everybody, and then he takes off and runs for 20 yards, and so it's let's get after him. Let's see if we can put pressure on him, get some negative yardage plays, get him in third and extra long, and make life difficult for him. And I thought it was a great plan, executed very well by our players.
Tom, a little off topic, but how many community service hours are your players required to put in? Is there a limit?
There's not a requirement.
Okay.
I think now, because of the sheer numbers, I think is one of the reasons. But I think of all the sport teams here at the university, I think we have the most number of community service hours. It's something that's very important to our kids and to me as a program to give back to this great city. But no, there's not a requirement.
Gotcha. And just want to get your thoughts too on Mealy Fleming, true freshman, and just him as a person, as a player.
Oh, he's a great kid. He's fun to be around. He needs to wash his dreadlocks more often because they start to stink after a while. But and he'll laugh when he hears that because I give him a hard time about it all the time. But very gregarious. I mean, very talkative. Smart kid that's always got a smile on his face, and has played now in some big time situations for us as a true freshman. This is a kid that we didn't offer until I think his third camp, and he said, he came to the first camp. How did I do? Did I get an offer? Not really. Second camp, how did I do? You did okay, but we're going to keep recruiting these guys. Third camp, how did I do? You know what? Just the fact that you paid the money to be here for 3 camps tells us a lot about your character and about your desire to play at the University of Houston, and really says a lot about his character. And so, we offered him a scholarship partly because of that, I think, because we knew how important it was for him to play here at the University of Houston. And so, I can't say enough good things about him. He's been fun to coach.
Tom, every coach believes in their plan. Every staff believes in their plan. When you got here a couple of years ago, and you look back on what you guys have accomplished, I don't know if exceeding expectations is the right word. Surprise might not be the right word, but to do what you guys have done in this amount of time with these kids, does it ever kind of take you back and like, wow, this is an incredible run we've had?
No, maybe after the Memphis game, I'll have an opportunity to sit back and be appreciative. And it's funny. You talk about exceeding expectations. I don't know that we had expectations. I think. That was one thing, I said from the very beginning, our goal is to compete for and win the American Conference Championship on a regular basis. We've done that. But I think when you come in, it's so day-to-day and so mentally and physically and emotionally exhausting that you really don't even have time to think about what the expectations are or should be. That's for you guys to ponder and talk about, and for us, it's a daily, minute by minute grind to instill a culture and then cultivate that culture and make sure it continues to grow. And you really don't have time for expectations.
But now there are expectations, right? Because you've created this culture and you've created this program.
Not
right?
internally. They have never changed. Never. Our expectations are to go 1-0 and to compete for the American Conference Championship year in and year out. So that's it. That's all we talk about.
How many years have you had somebody over for Thanksgiving, kids over? Have you been doing that
Every year.
Every year?
Yeah. I mean, it's really not a holiday when you're involved in college football, and some would say it's a shame. I don't know, but our guys, the people that suffer the most are our families. These guys only play college football for 4 or 5 years. This is a profession, for 30 or 40 years, and so. It's difficult on coaches' families, but we try to, again, like practicing in the morning, celebrate Wednesday morning, we'll celebrate Thanksgiving Wednesday night, and, try to make the most of it. Good? Oh.
On Friday, you broke ground or started the preparation for the indoor facility. Just now that that's in motion, just the thought of having that in 8 or 9 more months when things get going again next year?
You've known me for 2 years now. I'm not the most patient of people, so I am excited. I wish we were in it today. or tomorrow, and I know that's not a reality, but excited at the prospect of being able to have that and train in a first-class facility and not have to ever again worry about weather as a deterrent to our preparation, and that's a really cool feeling. Good. Thank you.